Hi, welcome to the show 006 of Podium, Spiritual Truths Behind Elite Sports Performance. And in this show, we're going to be talking about the illusion of confidence. So the question of confidence, the need for it, too much of it, the sort of lack of it, and how to get more of it has been the topic of forums and seminars and conferences for many years. And it's something that's not gender specific, and nor has it got anything to do with culture or ethnicity. None of these things influence it. Confidence is an extremely hot topic, it seems, in the field of performance sport, and it resonates with most people. And have you ever noticed that when people appear confident, they're like a magnet? You know, they can do no wrong, and people believe that they are the real deal. Yet when people seem to lack confidence, you know, have you ever noticed people seem to take a step back, even to the point of not trusting them? How funny is that? So, as a conditioned high achiever, it was extremely important that I did everything I could for players and my coaching team to be on their game and highly confident when it counted. And I used to believe that experience, years in the game, gave athletes confidence. And so part of my performance planning program was to look at how many caps, and if you're not familiar with that terminology, that means international representations, how many caps a player would have in the top 8 in the world. And in 2009, it was that in my sport, netball, it was around 50 caps. So a top 8 player would have around 50 caps, and over the whole of the team, you know, that would be around sort of 450 caps would be out there at any one time. And that was around a top 8 team. And I really believed that confidence, the ability to perform your skills that you've mastered repetitively, on demand, came from however many times that you have put them out there, however many international appearances you have had the privilege to display. And so I really, I went after putting together a performance program that would give the Scottish national athletes as many opportunities as they possibly could to get out there and feel what it was like to be on the international arena, to be up against some of the top teams, the top 12 teams in the world. And that this would somehow give them confidence. And it's curious, isn't it? Because when you really look at that, what's that all about? And then I started to see that there would be performances by some of our very senior, experienced players, and they would look unconfident. And I thought, well, hang on a minute, experience doesn't equal confidence. And so I'm putting quite a lot of time and belief and energy behind this theory to try to accelerate experience for my players so that they can show up in the heat of the moment and be able to produce fine performances. And I can see that that's based on a misunderstanding, because we know that there are athletes who are very experienced that would go into competition and they would appear to have some confidence issues. They would look awkward, they would look worried, they would look a bit nervous. And so we have this whole thing that they're not confident and it needs to be fixed. And then I started to see, oh my word, this is all based on a misunderstanding of where experience comes from, and that confidence, the issue of confidence, is a complete misnomer. And that actually, confidence is just the absence of thought. Because when we look at babies, and I love this metaphor, and I was talking about this to an athlete this morning. When we look at babies or toddlers, and they're just starting to crawl and walk, and they have this innate capacity to just keep creating ways in which to learn their skills. And you would never sit there and look at a baby and consider that they would be scratching their heads thinking, oh my word, I'm just not confident to get and crawl to the coffee table. No, you wouldn't consider that babies would have lack of confidence. So it's something that we have created. And again, it's of the conceptual mind. But when we break it down and when we look behind that, there is this innate capability to display our skills. Whatever it is we've learned, we can reproduce those. And it's not a matter of being confident or not confident. And for me, I can really see now that yes, we can get a lot of thinking around the performance, and that would take us in a different direction. That would take us into distraction potentially. But our skills are still there. Whatever we've mastered to that date is still there. There's nothing we need to fix. There's nothing we need to change. This misnomer of confidence, if we believe it to be real and we believe it to be true, will send us in a different direction of changing our program so that athletes can then get more of it. And actually, it doesn't even really exist. Naturally, human beings are born with confidence to grow, to live, to laugh, to perform, to acquire skills. This is what we do. It's part of the inner intelligence of the design of the human being. And if left alone, we perform naturally. And it's not a question of getting more confidence or less confidence. For me, it's very much more about looking at understanding how the human mind works to create our experiences. I remember one time asking the Glasgow Wildcats whether or not they preferred to play away or they preferred to play their Super League match at home. And I was really shocked to find that 50% of the squad preferred to play away in front of an away crowd, that they felt better, they felt more confident, they preferred it. And 25% of them preferred to play at home, and 25% didn't actually mind either way. And this was fascinating to me. And I didn't really nail it all the time I was the national coach. It wasn't until after, and I came across this understanding of how the human mind works to create our felt experience, that I could see, 50% of the players would have a quieter mind if they were playing away, and they would have a noisier mind, maybe thoughts of judgment. How am I doing? What are they going to think of me? I want to impress. They would have all of that type of thinking when they played at home. But they really wanted to do well in front of the home crowd. And they would have a lot more noise around it. Now, usually it would be the other way around. Usually you hear of many teams believing that it's harder to play their sport against the away crowd than it is against the home crowd. But either way, that notion is based on a misunderstanding that the crowd is the cause of the athlete's experience, because it just simply doesn't work that way. And in my example, if it did work that way, then all the players would feel the same. And the players wouldn't perhaps have a change in experience because the crowd would still be the same, and actually their experiences would change a second time round of my asking them. So we can start to get really close to the fact that all human beings project their reality out into the world. And although it looks like that's being caused by circumstances and situations on the outside, that's not true. That's not how it works. And I can see that if you believe that it does work like that, then you might go chasing confidence. If things on the outside look scary to you and threatening to you, then you might need to have some confidence. But that is all based on a total misunderstanding of where experience comes from. So I don't even look in the direction of helping athletes to get more confident. What I do now is I help athletes to understand how the mind works to create their experience in the moment. And that when they do get distracting, troublesome thinking that doesn't serve them, they learn to see it for what it is. They don't need to do anything with it. They don't need to control it or manage it. They can just let it go. And they can fall out of that personal thinking into this incredible creative process that we all have as human beings, which is the capacity to have fresh new thinking in the moment. There's always another thought on the way. We're not our thinking. And if we were our thinking, then we wouldn't be able to perceive these experiences. We wouldn't be able to perceive thought. Who is the perceiver? What is the perceiver? And when we start to just take that little bit of distance, wow, we can open ourselves up to the potential of complete psychological freedom to just simply perform, simply play, simply get involved in the game of life. And you can see that freedom in certain teams in sports. And I love in the Super Bowl last week that Tom Brady, talks about being childlike, having nothing on his mind, just create a move, create a throw, create a play, just to see what happens. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been a really lovely conversation. And this is the first of a few conversations around the 6 C's of high performance sport. That's confidence, consistency, cohesion, control, communication, and commitment. So stay tuned. If you've loved the show, please share it with your friends. The more subscribers we get, the more people's lives we're going to touch. And the more freedom we're going to have in sport, and the less suffering we're going to have too. So if you want to get hold of me, contact me on denise.holland@class-performance.com, or you can go over to the Facebook group at Denise Holland 3Ps, that's 3P'. Or my website is www.class-performance.com. And that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening, and I will look forward to sharing with you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.